Penguin Random House Audio presents The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, Book 1 of the Dearly Beloathed Duology, by Brigitte Knightley. Read for you by Heather Long and Thomas Judd.
Glossary. Deofol. From Old English, O.E., deofol, devil. Animal familiars used for communication, companionship and counsel. Deofol are not chosen. They manifest early in childhood as a juvenile form of the animal in question and grow alongside the child. Their physical form may be nebulous or detailed depending on the summoner's control of Saith. Platt's pox. Named after Epilot Platt, a Haelan who first described the disease during an outbreak a century before this story begins. Platt's pox is a viral infectious disease characterized by large weeping sores. It most frequently occurs in children between the ages of 1 and 12. Encephalopathy is a serious and unfortunately common complication requiring Haelan intervention to reverse. Saith. From Old Norse Saithra, magic. Though Aurienne Fairhrim would tell us that any magic, studied thoroughly enough, is science. Everyone can use Saith for basic applications such as summoning their deofol, using a waystone, or powering up Saith capacitors. Advanced study of Saith requires initiation into an order. Mastery requires a Tarkin. Tarkin. From O.E. Tarkin, sign, symbol, evidence. A brand seared into the palms of full members of a given order. The branding mechanism opens their Saith system to the world and allows exponentially greater flow and manipulation of Saith. The Tiendoms. From O.E. Tien, 10, plus Dom. Jurisdiction. The collective name for 10 petty kingdoms vying for control of an archipelago in the North Atlantic Ocean. The porosity of the borders between the Tiendoms depends on the political climate. When war looms, as it frequently does, waystones are shut down and borders are closed. Waystone. From O.E. Wedge. Road, path, freedom of movement, plus stone. Waystones are tall, rune-engraved menhirs, placed along a network of ley lines called the Waystone Graticule. They are the most common means of travel in the Tiendoms. They are frequently found next to pubs, which are responsible for the upkeep of the Waystone. The Waystone Graticule is controlled and managed by the Fyren Order. Content notes. The irresistible urge to fall for your enemy is an enemies to lovers romantasy featuring an assassin and a healer. It contains elements which may not be suitable for all listeners, including graphic violence, torture, deaths of minor characters, swearing, brief sexual content, medical content including fictional diseases affecting adults and children, and depictions of sick children in a hospital-like setting. Please listen with care.
Chapter 1. Irresistible Bastard meets Immovable Bitch. Osric. It wasn't until Aurienne Fairhrim that Osric learned eye contact could hit like a knife. She stood, upright and austere, in the confines of a daguerreotype, pinning him with black bright eyes. "Her?" asked Osric. "Yes, sir," said Physica Fordyce. "Must it be her?" "You really haven't a choice, sir." Osric dropped the daguerreotype. It landed on his desk, from which vantage the woman's penetrating gaze found a new victim and perforated the ceiling. Also ornamenting Osric's desk unpleasantly was Aurienne Fairhrim's curriculum vitae and a list of publications verging on the infinite. "She's one of the Haelan," said Osric. "Her order won't work with mine. She'll refuse me as a matter of principle." "She may, sir," said Physica Fordyce. "You asked us who could heal you, not who would. Don't be cheeky. No disrespect meant, sir, said Fordyce. The Haelan Order's members are matchless healers, and Aurienne Fairhrim is herself unsurpassed among them. She's a phenomenon when it comes to the Saith system. If she declines, of course she'll decline. She's a Haelan. Then Physica Shuttleworth and I will do our utmost to slow the degeneration. How long have I got left? Asked Osric. Fordyce glanced at his colleague. Osric waited for the latter to say something of use, but Physica Shuttleworth merely looked frightened, had a panicky spasm, and choked on his own saliva. Fordyce found his courage among his colleagues' sputters. It's difficult to predict with any sort of accuracy. Answer me, said Osric. At our best guess, 3 or 4 months before your abilities begin to dwindle significantly, sir, said Fordyce. Dwindle significantly, repeated Osric. Yes, sir, said Fordyce. I'm going to lose my saith. That is unfortunately one of the likely outcomes, sir. I can't lose my saith, said Osric. You know what I am. Yes, the Physicers knew. It was why they were on the verge of pissing themselves. They both nevertheless confirmed it with vigorous nods towards Osric's boots. You're a member of the Fyren Order, sir, said Shuttleworth. Perhaps you could envisage an early retirement. A brutally stupid question, to which Osric replied, Do you know how Fyren are retired? No, sir. Death. Ah. Bit of a problem, isn't it? Yes, sir. I must say this outcome is a disappointment, given what I paid the two of you, said Osric. Your illness is, really, it's quite unfortunate, not treatable, per se, said Fordyce. It's a degenerative condition with no known cure. The Haelan are the greatest healers alive, said Shuttleworth, who had recovered from his suffocation to blind Osric with this luminous insight. Aurienne Fairhrim really is your best option, sir, said Fordyce. If anyone can help you, it's her. She's my only option, if you and your colleague are to be believed. Yes. Having concluded that the Physicers would be of no further use, Osric dismissed them. I'm sure I can count on your discretion with respect to my condition. The Physicers stammered out a few yeses. My steward will see you out, said Osric. Give us a moment. Fordyce and Shuttleworth bowed low before exiting Osric's study. They placed their hats upon their useless heads and scuttled out towards the reception room. Osric called for his steward. Mrs. Parson. Mrs. Parson and her white-streaked bun popped round the doorpost. Yes, sir. See to it that neither of those Physicers remembers this visit. Of course. Osric held the daguerreotype of Aurienne Fairhrim up for Mrs. Parson's inspection. Here's my apparent saviour. What do you think? Mrs. Parson grasped about at her bosom until she found her spectacles. She perched them on her nose and peered at the image. She looks lovely. She looks like a means to an end, said Osric. Mrs. Parson tapped Fairhrim's high-necked white dress. One of the Haelan? Yes, sanctimonious to the core, no doubt. Aurienne Fairhrim is her name. Mrs. Parson eyed Osric over her spectacles. If she's a Haelan, she won't help you. Obviously, said Osric. However, she is apparently a phenomenon, and I'm in need of a phenomenon, Parson. How shall I convince her to assist? He turned to a looking-glass, inspected the finest cheekbones in the Teandoms, and said, Seduction? I don't think you'd manage it, said Parson. You offend me, madam. Mrs. Parson, who was annoyingly sensible, said, She's a Haelan. She'd sooner walk into the Thames than help you. Perhaps we can equip you with a plan B and a plan C. B for blackmail, C...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?